Chosen one. This was the most brutal awakening for your enemies, because they're finally realizing they underestimated the wrong person. There's a silence surrounding you right now that's deafening. The one they dismissed became the one they fear. Now your rise is their punishment, your glow their constant reminder that they failed at stopping you. They thought your light would fade, yet you're blinding the very world they wanted to keep you hidden from. This was never revenge, it's divine justice, and now the universe ensures your existence remains the nightmare they can't wake up from. Every achievement you reached came with a calculated response designed to make it disappear. You landed something significant, and they said luck. You built something from nothing, and they said timing. You showed strength, and they called it stubbornness. But here's what you need to understand. This wasn't random criticism. This was architecture. They were building a prison in your mind brick by brick. When you shared your vision, they found the flaw immediately. When you celebrated a win, they reminded you of 10 things you hadn't done yet. The pattern was surgical. Your progress threatened something in them they couldn't name. Their entire sense of order required you to stay below them, behind them, dependent on them. Your growth didn't just disrupt that order. It exposed the lie their whole identity was built on. The lie that they were superior, more deserving, more capable. Watching you rise without their permission didn't just annoy them, it shattered their foundation. Some of these people weren't enemies on the surface. They were family, who should have lifted you, friends who should have celebrated you, partners who should have protected your dreams, but they became your most dangerous critics because they had access. They knew exactly where you were vulnerable. They understood your insecurities better than anyone, and they used that knowledge like a weapon. The relative who wrapped jealousy in concern, the friend who disguised envy as realism, the partner who masked control as protection, they all played their roles with precision. But what they didn't know was this. Every brick they placed in your mental prison was actually building something else entirely, something they would regret for the rest of their lives. Keep that thought. We're coming back to it. Their words became your thoughts. That's how deep the conditioning went. You started questioning everything. Your abilities, your worth, your right to dream. They planted doubt, and you watered it every single day with your attention. Maybe they're right. Maybe I'm reaching too far. Maybe I should just accept this. The questions looped in your mind like a virus replicating itself. This was their masterpiece, making you your own prison guard. Their limiting beliefs echoed so loud inside your head that they didn't need to be physically present anymore to control you. You did their work for them. You censored yourself before they could. You shrank your dreams before sharing them. You lowered your standards to match their expectations. This was survival mode masquerading as humility. Every time you repeated their criticisms to yourself, you were also building something else. Resistance. Like a body exposed to small doses of poison, you were developing immunity. They kept increasing the dosage, thinking it would finally break you. Instead, each dose made you stronger. Your system was learning to metabolize toxicity and convert it into fuel. The cost was everything in the moment. Every time you dimmed your light for their comfort, you lost a piece of your soul. You stopped sharing victories. You stopped voicing dreams. You stopped expressing truth. The self-silencing became automatic. Protection turned into prison. You became a performance artist playing a character they wrote. You learned which parts were acceptable and which parts needed to stay hidden. You developed supernatural instincts for their moods, their triggers, their limits. You started living in this strange split reality. On the surface you played the role perfectly, said the right things, made the right gestures, kept your light at the exact dimness they required. But underneath, something was happening they couldn't see. That flame they were trying to extinguish was actually feeding on everything they threw at it. Every insult was oxygen. Every dismissal was kindling. Every moment of coldness was fuel. What they interpreted as your compliance was actually you gathering intelligence. You were studying them, learning their patterns, understanding their fears, recognizing their projections. You weren't just surviving in that cage. You were mapping every bar, every lock, every weakness in its structure. And somewhere in your subconscious, you were designing your escape route without even knowing it yet. Something in you refused to die, even buried under all that doubt, even suffocated by all that fear. Something kept burning, a flame they couldn't extinguish no matter how much water they poured on it. That flame was your truth, the part of you that knew at a level deeper than thought that you were meant for more than this cage, and their attempts to kill that flame actually fed the fire. Remember what I said about those bricks they were placing? They thought they were building your prison, but they were actually forging the furnace that would transform you into something they could never touch again. The breaking point didn't come with thunder, it came with clarity. You woke up one morning and saw their version of you for what it was, fiction, a character they created to serve their story, and you were done performing. The exhaustion you felt wasn't weakness, it was your soul rejecting the lie. That exhaustion cracked open into something they never expected: power. You started asking different questions, not what's wrong with me, but what's wrong with this situation. Not how can I please them, but who am I without their chains. Not why don't they love me, but why did I stop loving myself. These questions didn't give you answers immediately. They gave you something better: direction. You turned inward, toward yourself, toward truth, toward the flame they tried to kill. This is the moment everything shifted, the moment they lost you forever, and didn't even know it yet. You stopped performing, you stopped shrinking, you stopped believing their narrative. The shift happened in silence, so quiet they couldn't hear the earthquake happening under their feet. You made decisions without them, built things without their input, celebrated wins without needing their validation to make them real. If this message activated your knowing, hype this video to connect with more chosen ones on this journey. There was a moment where you realized their opinions weren't facts. They were projections. Their criticisms weren't truths about you. They were confessions about them. Every limitation they placed on you was actually a limitation they placed on themselves. And you were done inheriting their ceilings. You started experimenting with disobedience. Small acts at first, saying no without explanation, sharing an opinion they wouldn't like, making a choice that prioritized your happiness over their comfort. Each act of rebellion felt scary and liberating simultaneously, like jumping off a cliff and discovering you had wings. The fear was real, but so was the freedom, and the freedom started outweighing the fear. Something interesting happened as you reclaimed your power. People who had been quiet during your oppression started speaking up. They told you they always saw your light. They admitted they were waiting for you to see it too. They confessed they watched you dim yourself and wanted to intervene, but knew you had to come to this realization yourself. These allies appeared once you stopped accepting the enemy's narrative. Each independent choice removed a brick from their wall. Each act of self-trust shattered their control. The power dynamic flipped completely. The person who used to seek their approval now couldn't care less about their opinion. The person who used to hang on their words now moved like royalty, who answers to no one. You became unrecognizable to them, and that's when their confusion started. They expected you to stay diminished forever. In their script you were permanently cast as the supporting character, the one who needed them, the one who chased their validation, the one who would always be 3 steps behind begging for scraps. They wrote your entire arc and assumed you'd follow it to the letter, but you took their script and lit it on fire. Now watch what happens when you stop playing their game. The balance of power doesn't just shift, it inverts completely, and they feel it in their bones. It starts small. They notice you're not asking for their opinion anymore. Then they see you're not sharing your wins with them. Then it hits them that you're building an entire life they have zero access to. Each observation compounds into something that terrifies them. You don't need them anymore. The person who used to seek their approval now radiates authority they can't explain. You're not trying to impress anyone. You're not performing for validation. You're just existing in your power. And it's magnetic in a way that makes their current reality feel hollow. They start comparing who they're with now versus who you were, what they have now versus what they had, where they are now versus where you are. Every comparison destroys them a little more. They watch you from a distance now, and something doesn't add up. You're not bitter. You're not angry. You're not even thinking about them. This confuses them more than anything else. In their minds, they expected you to be destroyed. They expected you to come crawling back eventually. They expected rage or desperation, or at least some acknowledgement of their existence. Instead, you're just living, thriving, glowing, moving through life like they never even mattered. This indifference is more devastating to them than any revenge you could have taken. If you hated them, at least they'd still be important to you. If you were angry, at least they'd still occupy space in your mind. But you're neutral, peaceful, completely unaffected by their absence. They're realizing they didn't just lose you. They lost relevance in your universe. They became extras in a movie where they thought they were main characters. Some of them start testing the waters, casual messages that seem innocent, but are really reconnaissance missions. They're trying to gauge where you are mentally. Are you still hurt? Are you still accessible? Is there an opening they could exploit? But your responses, if you even respond at all, are polite and distant, cordial but cold. There's no emotional hook for them to grab onto, no vulnerability for them to manipulate. You've become unreachable, and they can feel it. Here's what's building that they still don't fully see yet. Their confusion is about to turn into something far worse. Right now they're puzzled. Soon they're going to be haunted, because what you became isn't just impressive, it's unreachable. It's a frequency they can't match. It's a level they can't access. And the gap is getting wider every single day. You continue rising. Some of them are suffocating in regret right now. Not the light regret of a missed opportunity, the crushing regret of knowing they destroyed something irreplaceable with their own hands. They see you thriving, and every image triggers a flood of memories. Every dismissal, every cruelty, every moment they chose their ego over your heart. These memories play on loop, and they can't make it stop. They see themselves clearly now, and it's brutal. The smallness of what they did, the pettiness of why they did it, the fear that made them need to keep you down. Watching you fly forces them to witness their own cowardice in high definition. You were offering love, and they gave conditions. You were showing them your authentic self, and they demanded a performance. You were revealing your potential, and they handed you doubt. They had something precious and treated it like trash. Now that precious thing is priceless and completely out of reach. They can see you glowing but can't touch the light. They can witness your peace but can't access it. Their regret isn't just about missing you. It's about understanding they were given something rare and they poisoned it. What makes this particularly brutal for them is the timing of their realization. When you were with them, offering everything, they couldn't see your value. They were too busy finding flaws, too focused on control, too invested in keeping you beneath them. Now that you're gone and transformed, they see everything clearly. The depth they missed, the authenticity they rejected, the love they took for granted. But clarity came too late. The door closed while they were still deciding whether to walk through it. Some of them talk about you to others, trying to make sense of their loss. They tell stories that paint themselves in a better light, stories that minimize what they did and maximize what you supposedly did wrong. But their friends see through it. The obsession gives them away. If you really weren't that special, why can't they stop talking about you? If you really were the problem, why do they look so haunted when your name comes up? Deep down they know the version of you they want back is dead. That person doesn't exist anymore. You died and resurrected as someone they cannot manipulate, cannot control, cannot reach. The door didn't just close, it vanished. The bridge didn't just burn, it evaporated. The window didn't just shut, it was bricked over, and they did all of it with their own choices. Meanwhile, others are building fortresses of denial. They can't admit any responsibility, so they're creating alternative narratives where you're the villain. You changed, you got arrogant, you abandoned them. They're clinging to these lies because the truth would shatter them, but their behavior gives them away. If they truly believe their own story, why are they so obsessed with your success? Why do they check your updates compulsively? Why can't they stop talking about you? Your success is a mirror they're forced to look at every single day, and it reflects everything they refuse to admit about themselves. their stagnation, their cowardice, their refusal to evolve. While you transformed completely, they stayed exactly where they were. Same stories, same excuses, same patterns, same prison. Your rise highlights their paralysis in a way they can't ignore no matter how hard they try. They built walls to contain who you should be. Those walls are still standing, but they're empty. You're miles beyond them now, expanding into territory they can't even conceptualize. The structures they built to limit you became monuments to their own limitations. You proved those walls only existed in their minds, and in yours, until you stopped believing in them. When they look at you now, they don't just see your success, they see every choice they didn't make, every risk they didn't take, every opportunity they let pass because fear won. You're living proof that the excuses they tell themselves are lies. You had the same obstacles, the same doubts, the same fears, but you moved through them anyway, and now you're free while they're still trapped. The people around them can see the difference too. Mutual friends who know both of you watch the contrast and draw conclusions. Some of them have told your enemies directly that losing you was a mistake. Others just quietly shifted their respect in your direction. Your enemies feel this shift in how people treat them. There's less reverence, less interest, less engagement, because everyone can see who's actually doing the work of evolution. Your frequency shifted to a level they can't reach, not because you're better than them as a person, but because you did the work they refused to do. You faced the shadows they keep running from. You healed the wounds they keep reopening. You chose truth while they chose comfort. Now you're operating at a frequency of authentic power, and they're still vibrating at fear. This untouchable quality drives them insane. It's not arrogance, it's alignment. You're aligned with your true self now. There's no gap between who you are and what you project. That coherence creates a force field, and their frequency can't penetrate it. They're stuck vibrating at the level of judgment, fear, control. You're operating at the frequency of love, power, freedom. They're realizing something that's going to haunt them forever. They didn't just lose you from their life. They lost their chance to be part of something extraordinary. They could have risen with you. They could have celebrated your journey. They could have been included in your transformation, but they chose to fight it, and now they're watching from the outside as you build an empire they'll never enter. I must interrupt this transmission for just a moment. Are you really chosen? Prove it. It's easy to watch videos about chosen ones. It's another thing to put yourself to the test. If you're still here, that means something, but talk is cheap. Real chosen ones take action. That's why I built Destiny Engine. It generates personalized sequences that help you rewire betrayal into transcendence, turn isolation into sacred power, and transform their downfall into your rise. We are using the Dark Elite's own weapons against them, taking their declassified consciousness technology that programmed competition and scarcity and repurposing it to serve divine justice. You put on the headphones, press play, and watch your enemies choke on the rope their own lies created. If you're done consuming and ready to prove you're chosen, start your Destiny Engine for $1 today, join the Obsidian Inner Order live checks, and watch divine justice accelerate in your life. Link in the description. This is where everything they tried to do to you backfires completely. Your transformation wasn't just about escaping them, it was about discovering something they could never give you and never understood. Unshakable love for yourself, not the shallow self-esteem they preached while sabotaging. Real love, the kind that accepts every part of you, your light, your shadow, your power, your vulnerability, all of it. This self-love wasn't handed to you. You built it. Every boundary you set was a brick. Every time you chose your peace over their comfort was mortar. Every moment you validated yourself instead of seeking their approval was steel reinforcement. These acts accumulated into an unshakable foundation. You constructed a throne and you sit on it like you were born there. Because you were. But let's talk about what this self-love actually looks like in practice. Because your enemies are watching it manifest in ways that destroy them. You walk into rooms differently now. There's no hesitation, no scanning for approval, no shape-shifting to match the energy. You just are, fully present, completely yourself, taking up space without apology. This confidence isn't arrogance, it's alignment, and people feel the difference. You stop performing for external validation entirely. The need to prove yourself evaporated. You don't need their acknowledgement to know your worth. You don't need their presence to feel whole. You don't seek their love because you're overflowing with your own. This shift changed everything. The love you have for yourself became the baseline for how anyone can treat you. Anyone who can't meet that standard loses access immediately. Your boundaries became unshakable, not aggressive, not defensive, just firm. When someone crosses a line, you don't explode or explain or justify. You simply remove access. No drama, no long conversations, no chances to manipulate their way back in. You protect your peace like it's sacred because it is. Your enemies watch this and it baffles them. They remember when they could guilt you into compliance. Now guilt bounces off you like rain off stone. The language you use changed too. You stopped saying sorry for existing, stopped qualifying your opinions, stopped shrinking your accomplishments. When you speak about yourself now, there's ownership, there's pride, there's certainty. Not the false bravado of someone trying to convince themselves, the quiet confidence of someone who knows their value and doesn't need external confirmation. What really destroys them is watching you enjoy your own company. You're not desperately seeking connection to fill a void. You're not jumping into situations just to avoid being alone. You're actually at peace in your solitude. You've become your own best friend, your own cheerleader, your own safe space. This self-sufficiency is attractive in a way that dependency never was. This is the climax of their awakening. They're watching you operate from a place of total self-possession. No need for external validation, no hunger for approval, no dependence on anyone. You're sovereign, complete, whole, and it's the most attractive thing they've ever witnessed, which makes it even more painful that they can't access it. They're realizing what they lost wasn't just a person, it was a chance to experience real love. The irony is excruciating for them. When you were offering them everything, they couldn't see the value. Now that you've claimed everything for yourself, they see it perfectly. They wanted you small and manageable. Now you're expansive and untouchable. They wanted you dependent. Now you're sovereign. They wanted you broken. Now you're bulletproof. Your essence haunts them and it's not going away. Not in a supernatural way, in a psychological way that's far more brutal. They can't stop thinking about you. You appear in their thoughts uninvited at random moments, when they're alone at night, when they're in crowds during the day, when they're with new people trying desperately to replicate what you gave them. You're there, a constant presence they cannot exercise. This isn't about your physical appearance. What haunts them is the energy you carried, the depth they completely overlooked, the wisdom they dismissed, the love they took for granted. They see it all clearly now. You were offering them something rare, a genuine connection, real depth, authentic love, and they treated it like it was ordinary, like it was replaceable. They were so focused on the surface, your exterior, the parts they could see and judge. They analyzed the wrapper while ignoring the gift inside. They obsessed over presentation while staying blind to essence. Now that you're gone, they finally understand. It was never your face that made you unforgettable. It was your soul. Your soul carried a frequency they couldn't decode back then. That's why they can't let go. It's not nostalgia, it's phantom pain. You left a spiritual imprint they can't erase. You marked them at a level they don't have words for. They meet new people constantly and compare everyone to you. Not physically, energetically. Does this person have that depth, that authenticity, that presence? The answer is always no. Not because others aren't valuable, but because you're not a category, you're singular. The haunting shows up in unexpected ways. A song reminds them of you, and the emotion hits hard. A scent takes them back to a moment with you. Someone who moves like you, or laughs like you, and their heart stops. These triggers are everywhere. There's no escape from the ghost of what they lost. The ghost of you disrupts their new relationships. They compare intimacy levels, compare conversations, compare the energy, And new people always fall short because they're being measured against a standard they don't even know exists. Your enemy's new partners can feel something is off. There's a distance, a reservation, a part that's not fully present. At night, when they're alone with their thoughts, the haunting is strongest. That's when the ghost speaks loudest. That's when regret whispers all the things they should have said, all the ways they should have acted, all the love they should have given. That's when they replay scenarios where they made different choices, but these are just fantasies, just torture they inflict on themselves. The emotions raging inside them right now are tearing them apart. It's not one clean feeling, it's chaos, awe mixed with envy, admiration tangled with bitterness, fascination laced with resentment. They can't separate these feelings because they're all rooted in the same truth. You became what they couldn't. You did what they were too afraid to do. You claimed what they were too weak to reach for. Part of them genuinely respects your strength. They see the resilience you showed, the courage it took to leave, the discipline required to rebuild, the faith needed to keep going when everything looked impossible. This respect is real. They feel it, but they'll never admit it, because alongside that respect lives something much darker: jealousy, the kind that eats at you from the inside. They look at you and see everything they wish they could become: the freedom you claimed, the authenticity you embody, the peace you radiate. These things torture them because they want it desperately, but have no idea how to get it. So instead of doing their own work, they resent yours. Instead of pursuing their own transformation, they bitter about yours. This jealousy manifests as questions that loop in their mind constantly. Why couldn't I do what they did? What makes them so special? Why do they get to be happy while I'm stuck here suffering? These questions have no good answers because they're based on a lie. It's not about being special, it's about choosing. You chose growth over comfort. They chose safety over evolution. Remember those bricks they were stacking to build your prison? Every criticism, every dismissal, every moment of cruelty. They thought they were containing you, but they were actually forging you. The pressure they applied created a diamond. The heat they generated purified gold. The poison they fed you built immunity. Everything they meant for destruction became the foundation of your resurrection. This is divine justice, not revenge, not karma in some mystical sense. Natural law. The universe doesn't punish, but it does balance. They planted cruelty, and now they're harvesting regret. You planted resilience, and now you're harvesting abundance. The equation balanced itself without you lifting a finger. Your only job was to keep growing, to keep choosing yourself, to keep rising. Their suffering now is completely self-inflicted. Nobody is punishing them from the outside. Their own actions brought them here, watching you thrive while they stagnate, knowing they had something precious and destroyed it, understanding they could have been part of your rise but chose to fight it instead. These consequences are natural, inevitable, the result of their own choices. What makes this particularly devastating for them is the permanence. This isn't a temporary loss they can recover from. This is a closed chapter, a finished book, a door that doesn't exist anymore. No amount of growth on their part will give them access to you again, because even if they transformed completely tomorrow, you've already moved on. Some of them are trying to change now, finally going to therapy, finally working on their issues, finally becoming the person they should have been when they had you. But it's too late for you to witness or benefit from it. Their growth is happening in a vacuum. It's not reaching you. It's not changing anything between you. You're not responsible for their pain. You're not responsible for their regret. You're not responsible for their realization. These are their lessons, their growth opportunities if they choose to take them. Your responsibility is to yourself, your continued evolution, your peace, your joy, your power. Every step you take now builds something they'll never touch. Your transformation isn't just personal victory. It's proof, evidence that anyone can break free, that chains are illusions, that prisons only exist in minds. Your story is reaching people you'll never meet. Your example is inspiring someone right now to take their first step toward freedom, and your enemies are watching this legacy being built. They're seeing your influence expand, your light reach further, your message resonate deeper, and they know they could have been part of this movement. Instead, they're footnotes in your origin story. The villains who accidentally created a hero by trying to destroy one. The silence surrounding you now isn't absence, it's checkmate. Your enemies aren't quiet because they moved on. They're quiet because they have nothing left to say. Every criticism they could throw was proven wrong. Every limitation they tried to place was shattered. Every prediction they made about your failure became a joke. They gambled everything and lost spectacularly. Game over. But here's what brings it all back to where we started. Remember, I told you this was about 3 phases: how they tried to destroy you, the moment their plan backfired, and why your existence is their permanent nightmare. Now you see it all clearly. They built a cage, but you built wings. They wrote your ending, but you wrote an empire. They tried to bury you, but they didn't know you were a seed. Your enemies wanted to make you small and forgettable. Instead, their cruelty made you legendary. The darkness they threw at you became the backdrop that makes your light visible from miles away. They thought they were writing your tragic end. They were actually setting up your greatest beginning. This is bigger than revenge, bigger than vindication. This is about the message your life sends to everyone watching. The silence they're living in now is deafening. It's not peaceful, it's heavy. It's the silence of regret that can't be spoken. The silence of knowing they're wrong but being too proud to admit it. The silence of watching someone they tried to destroy become everything they wish they were. This silence follows them everywhere, into their relationships, into their work, into their quiet moments alone. It's always there. You didn't do this for them. You didn't evolve to prove them wrong. You evolved because you deserved better, because you were exhausted from living small, because something in you knew there was more. That purity of intention is what makes your power unshakable. This journey was never about them. It was about you remembering who you are. They were catalysts, painful but necessary. Your rise wasn't despite them, it was because of them, not because they helped, because they revealed what you were made of. Diamonds need pressure, gold needs fire. You were pressed, you were burned. What remained is unbreakable. What remained is priceless. What remained is untouchable. The silence you hear now is their acknowledgement. They misjudged everything. The brutal awakening your enemies experienced isn't over. It's ongoing. Every day they wake up to the reality of who you became without them. Every day they see evidence of your thriving. Every day they're reminded that you didn't need them. You just needed to get away from them. This daily awakening is their new normal. This is what they have to live with. They scroll through moments of your life they're not part of anymore. They see you with people who appreciate you properly. They watch you achieve things they said you couldn't. They witness you radiate peace they never gave you. And each observation is a small death, a reminder of the cosmic mistake they made, a confirmation that they fumbled the opportunity of a lifetime. Chosen one, rise higher. Not to prove anything, but because that's what you were born to do. Your enemies will watch from below as you claim altitudes they can't imagine. Their regret is the soundtrack, but you won't hear it. You'll be too busy living the life they said was impossible. This is your era, your season, your moment. Everything you endured prepared you for everything you're becoming. They wanted you in darkness, and you became the sun. Keep shining. Not for them, for you. Because you deserve to experience yourself fully expressed. Because the world needs what you carry. Because your light is your birthright, and nobody gets to dim it ever again. This is your legacy. This is your testimony. This is your triumph. Walk in it, own it, embody it, and the silence from your enemies, that deafening silence, that's just them finally understanding what you knew all along. You were never meant to stay in their cage. You were meant to fly. You were never meant to play small. You were meant to be legendary. You were never meant to need their validation. You were meant to validate yourself. The awakening was brutal for them, because the truth is brutal when you've been living a lie. And the lie they believed was that they could keep you contained. But chosen ones can't be caged. Chosen ones break free, transform, rise, and become exactly what they were chosen to be.